who's your Huckleberry?
I'm Greg.
I'm Julie, and we're the Crafty Whiners.
I wasn't trying to say I'm your Huckleberry, but maybe I am. I don't remember.
I don't even know what that means, honestly.
Wasn't it Young Guns? Yeah, it was,
I'll be your Huckleberry? Yeah, okay, maybe you're right.
I can see the character, but that was a long time ago. So.
Don't any of you have the guts to play for blood?
I'm your Huckleberry. That's just my game.
All right, Lunger. You go to hell. I'll put you out of your misery.
Say wham!
Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday. Has nothing to do with what we're doing, really, other than we're going to be
Huckleberry.
talking about Huckleberry Cider. So, we have a brewery in Boise, Idaho that makes this particular Huckleberry Cider, and it's one of her favorites, and I've actually gotten to like it a lot more than I did when we started, but it's Edge Brewing Company. So we decided we'd like to make something that was very similar. So we had a couple attempts. We could never get the Huckleberry to taste quite right.
No.
The extracts that we got just didn't taste the same as this. There's more than likely this extract has something more than just Huckleberry in it. We don't know what it is, but so as it turns out, Edge Brewing actually has a cider kit you can buy that actually comes with the extract that they imply that they use. So we've made this, and by gosh, it tastes just like their Huckleberry cider.
Yeah, it does.
So we're going to be showing you how to make their cider, our version of
their cider.
Using, basically, you still have to buy their kit to get the extract. We haven't found a place we can get this without the kit that comes around it, but the kit's not expensive, and it comes with all the ingredients that you need, including apple juice. But we didn't use their apple juice. We used our own, which in this case was, I think, a combination of Langer's and Great Value apple cider that we made this from. It was a 6-gallon batch that we split into 6 gallons, and this is one of the 6 gallons.
Oh, okay.
So just to make it more confusing, all you need to do is watch our base hard apple cider video on how we make apple cider, and then when that one ends, this video takes it from there and tells you how to turn that into the Huckleberry cider. That's how we're going to be doing our flavored cider videos.
Yep.
Watch the basic one, make that cider that way, and then when you find a variety of the cider that you actually want to make from our recipe, watch that video to take that base cider that you made in the first video to the next level. A few things we need to do here from that base recipe. Well, for one, we did not, on the split batch note, write down the pH. So I want to start by getting the pH of this cider, because in this Edge cider, we know pH plays a big factor. It's a very tart cider. Mm-hmm. We want the pH to be right at the same level that the cider we're trying to emulate is at. And we know it's a long ways off right now. Or I'm going to say there's a very good chance it's a long ways off. We just finished filming a video on pH management, so you can go watch that, and it's a little more concise than what we've had in the past that we've been getting you to watch. Okay, so the pH of our base cider right now is 4.14. So I'm writing that on our batch note for this split. Again, this was 6 gallons that we split into 6 batches. So each of the 6 batches has their own batch note now. I could have gone to the main one to see what the pH was probably, but this was just as easy. So normally I would, as I just said in our pH video, I would rinse this off, but we're going to be taking the pH immediately now, so I'm not going to do that. So we know what our pH is of what we're starting with. There's the cider we're emulating. 3.65.
Good. That's where we want to get.
So they could be being very creative and using some acids that are not normally used with cider. But we don't think they are based on our prior results. They're using malic acid like anybody that makes cider probably would use. So we want to go from 4.14 to 3.65. To be safe, even though we've done this before, the pH was totally different on the one we did before. So we're going to go ahead and take our own advice and do a 1/4 teaspoon of malic acid at a time so that we don't overshoot this pH.
Yeah.
So again, we're at 4.14 right now. We're going to use malic acid to go to 3.65. So we're going to do a quarter teaspoon at a time, which is our standard conservative measurement to adjust.
To be safe.
3.65 is more acidic than most of the wines that we do. So
It is, but it's weird how pH works because this is sweeter than the wines we make, but the pH is lower.
well, the acidity mutes the sweetness, so they probably make it more sweet than
Yeah.
what we would normally make our ciders.
And we're using malic acid, in case you didn't say this before.
I did.
Oh, okay. Well, because it's apple-based.
Right. Oh, I didn't specifically point that out. I said what was used in a cider. So yes, malic acid is the primary acid that is in apples. So if you're wanting to keep with an apple type tartness, you want to use malic acid.
Yep.
We probably have a spoon we could use, but just
We
make
do.
sure just make sure you're stirring this up really well because you want your readings and your changes to be accurate. I can see there's a little bit of sediment swirling around in here, but that will be fixed because we're going to cold crash this anyway.
It's being very noisy. Click, 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 click.
We are now at 4.02. So we went a ways, but we have a ways further to go. So I'm writing on my batch note. We did quarter teaspoon of MA. I use abbreviations for all of this so that I don't have to write with my crappy handwriting quite as much. What did I say? 4.02.
Yeah.
So we're going to do another quarter teaspoon. You will notice probably the lower your pH goes, the changes end up being
Less.
smaller.
And why is that?
It's because it's a logarithmic scale.
Good job.
And most of the world will never know that I didn't have to edit that. We have learned with flavoring ciders like this that you want to do your pH changes first. Which is why we're doing pH first. Get your pH level to the correct place, then add your flavors, and then probably recheck your pH if necessary. But
It won't be with this.
since we're emulating, we have an exact pH level that we're trying to get to. It makes the process a lot simpler for us. Not just taste. We have a number that's associated with it. So yes. Short dog. Okay, so rather than show you each individual one that we did because there were a lot, we're going to be cutting all of that out. We got the big boy spoon because we were doing so much
It's a lot of stirring.
It ended up being 3 total teaspoons of malic acid to get down to the right range.
Yep.
It's still a little bit high at 3.7, so it's just a tiny bit high, but we were pretty sure we're going to have to add some more apple juice, which is acidic.
Should change it.
The apple juice acidity is going to be a lot lower than 3.76, I believe. So it'll end up lowering a little bit too. So probably enough. So we're going to stop with the malic acid at that point. We're going to be happy with that.
And we're going to taste it to see if we need to
Now we're gonna
add the
taste it.
juice.
So we have our
Comparison.
and our sample. Of course, our sample is cold, and that's good. Our sample is not
It's not carbonated. So that does make a
And the
difference.
carbonation actually adds a little acidity as well from carbonic acid.
Well, it's got the zing.
For sure.
Yeah. But a little juice won't kill it.
This has already got 1 can. It doesn't really matter probably what brand of apple juice concentrate you use, but we are using Food Club, which is a little supermarket here local to us. Sells it. You can use Walmart brand. We usually do that, or whatever is handy for you.
Yeah.
We already put 12 ounces of this in this when it was a 6-gallon batch. This has the equivalent of a full can in it now. And we want to put another 2 ounces because based on our earlier batch of this, that's what we thought.
Yeah.
To get the apple taste to the right level.
And this can
Does
vary.
that measuring cup do 2 ounces easily, or should we get a shot?
I got this.
Yeah. So we have a nice little shot thing that'll go to 2 ounces. I'm going to make a mess, though, regardless. Probably.
Yeah, probably. But you can maybe squish it a little bit. Yeah. Make a spout.
Okay, so this
2
makes
ounces.
a total of 14 ounces of apple juice concentrate. We're adding this to the 12 one can that was already in there. And this should get the apple juice for the apple flavor about to where we believe it is on the Edge Brewing version.
Of course, keep in mind, different juices are going to have more or less apple taste, so you'll want to taste this yourselves to get it to where you'd like it to be, depending
And
on...
our goal isn't to make ours exactly the same, just we want it to be as good. Mm-hmm. And we know that it will be because we've done this before.
Yeah.
Spoiler. Drink that so I can add to it.
There.
Okay, so now we're just going to make sure that we've got a full apple flavor. Some dog farted.
Well, both of the butts are right down by your leg, so it's no telling.
They haven't had dinner yet, so they're punishing us because it's an hour past their dinner time. Okay, let's see where we're at with our overall taste.
Yeah, it's real close.
Minus the huckleberry.
Minus the huckleberry and the carbonation, which does change things, but...
That one might be a hair sweeter, but I actually think I like it a little less sweet. Plus, there could be some sweetness in this.
There's something about that changes this sweetness.
So I think we want to put this in next, and then we'll taste it again. So we know from prior that we'll be in the neighborhood with 3/4. We have not contacted Edge Brewing to see if we can buy this without the kit, and maybe they would sell it to us without the kit.
They might. I mean, they're a local brewery.
We will do that, probably, especially if this video draws some interest. But it's not a bad price to buy the whole kit, because you get some apple cider. We'll use that apple cider for other batches of hard cider, and possibly even an Edge hard cider. And they give us more to add to our stash of potassium and yeast.
Like we don't have enough already.
I believe the yeast, we bought 3 kits from them at the same time, but I think the yeast that came with this was one that we hadn't ever used before. Mm-hmm. I'd never seen before.
Well, it smells so good.
Yeah, this is very potent.
Yeah, it is.
So you can make, this is the 2nd gallon of huckleberry we've made, and it's just barely, we've only taken a teaspoon and a half out of this.
Yeah.
So you can make a lot. And I do believe this was on sale when I bought it, but I think it was only $25 for the kit, which is a great price. And because they're only 112 miles away from us, we got it the day after I ordered it, which was great too. You probably won't have that same experience, but
unless you're in Idaho.
But believe us when we say this is a good cider.
It is.
You can maybe find this in your local stores, although we found out that they're closing down the main brewery.
They got bought out.
Somebody is going to be still producing this.
Yeah.
I think, but
they got bought out by Garden Valley Brewing.
It's dinner time. Are you saying it's dinner time?
I think so. They're both saying that.
We're almost done recording. Really close. I mean, carbonation.
We'll change it.
Yeah, I think it's really close.
Okay.
There is a flavor in there that is not in ours, but I don't necessarily like theirs more because of that flavor, so I don't know that I care. I think there's something else they're putting in it, and it could be the apple in the apple juice.
It's possible.
Very easily.
At first,
but
I thought...
I like ours as much.
I thought that maybe it was a hopped cider, but hopped ciders always say they're hopped on them, and this doesn't, so... whatever it is, the taste is very close.
I know they're using Washington apples and a certain variety. In fact, it says on it. And no fear, this is not going to waste.
Oh, no.
They say on the can, semi-sweet heritage blend. And I think heritage is the variety of apple. we're not as big into cider as we are into wine, so a lot of you will probably know more than we do about ciders, but Washington Apples Heritage Blend is what this says. So that taste,
Oh, that could be a blend of different apples.
that taste
Yeah.
that we're tasting probably very well could just be the apples that they're using. The acidity level is right there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really tell a difference between their zing and our zing. So we did that right. The sweetness level is really close. And I think I like our sweetness level a little better. I don't like sweet ciders.
Right.
They say on here, fermented semi-sweet with our house ale yeast. They could be pasteurizing it to stop the fermentation at a certain sweetness level.
That is true.
And as opposed to that, we're adding juice concentrate to sweeten it. So, but ours is good, and I think it's as good, and we'll find out if our adult kids agree with us because they like the cider as well.
I think
We
they
need to
will.
carbonate it. So tonight, I will be force carbonating this along with a couple other batches of cider that have been waiting. But we have our previous batch of cider that we made
Yes, we do.
that we are going to taste now to compare one that's already carbonated to what we just made, just to make sure that we're right on the same plane. So this is a real fancy HB for Huckleberry. We know what that is. If you know, you know. The little pop there.
We actually drank some of this last night.
These were force carbonated a week and a half ago, I think. Is this the clean one? So you can see the
Yep.
see the bubbles.
It's definitely carbonated.
And this, we used the same recipe that we just gave you. I don't think there's actually any change that we made tonight, other than we made the one tonight a little bit more acidic to be a little closer to the pH level than we did here. I think we were a little higher on this one. I can tell the difference in the pH level, but this is very good.
It is very good. I think actually we left this one higher. We left the pH.
We did it
levels
on,
higher.
I think we did it
We
on
did it on
purpose because
purpose.
we wanted to see what the carbonation acid would end up being. And
I think this
it
one's
ended
gonna
up being less.
this one's gonna taste better. So yeah, follow this recipe.
So that's it. Hopefully this wasn't too hard to follow. Again, you make our base cider from a video that we linked earlier. I'll link it in the description as well. That gives you the base unsweetened, so dry cider recipe. And then from there, you're going to add a can of apple juice concentrate of your choice.
Actually 14 ounces, so a can
14
and 2 ounces.
Yep, 14 ounces, just depending on the size of your can.
Yeah, true.
And then it was 3 teaspoons of malic acid that we ended up having to add. Yours may vary, so you need to use a pH meter to get to as close to 3.65 as you can using malic acid. And then 3/4 of a teaspoon of, and this is important, we haven't found another Huckleberry extract that tastes just like this one. 3/4 teaspoon of this, and I will link the kit that you can get this in. And you see the number of gallons you're going to be able to get out of this extract is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's potent.
Yeah, it's very potent. You can smell it when you open the
Yeah,
cap.
yeah.
Unless you hate Huckleberry, and probably most of you don't know what Huckleberry tastes like, you're probably going to love this cider. Because I didn't know that I liked Huckleberry, but I like this.
Yeah, it's really one of my favorite ciders.
Hey, dogs, you want to eat?
Oh, now
they don't care.
now they're napping again.
We're going to end this video so that we can feed our dogs.
So thank you guys for watching. I hope you try this recipe, and well, unless you don't like Huckleberry, don't try it. But if you like Huckleberry, or you don't know if you like Huckleberry, please try the recipe and let us know how it turned out and what you thought of it. Thank you again for watching, and thank you for your support. Until, oh, we better use these ones. Until next time, cheers.